10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Whack Whack Attack. Today is March 7th, and I don't think we'll have an hour-long episode for you all, and I'll tell you why that is. But I just got back from ETH Denver a couple of days ago, and yesterday was just an extremely busy day of getting everything set up and organized and back to life, and I wasn't able to make an episode for you all. But today I'm going to be putting out a lot of content, and I am very excited about that. So we will start with some amazing news that we got last week, which was Christine Kim sharing information from the All Core Devs call. I said on today's call, Ethereum devs agreed to schedule the Shanghai upgrade on Gurley testnet for March 14th. And then there's Epoch. Gurley is the final public testnet where devs will test staked ETH withdrawals before activating the code change on mainnet. And then the idea is that the upgrade will happen on the second week of April, which is really exciting. Really exciting. So then the news goes out, across other places, and the upgrade will come in early April, which will enable withdrawals on mainnet. So how does the Rocket Pool team respond to this? Well, here we have Dave with a post. He said, hello from ETH Denver, everyone. Today we are super excited to officially announce our biggest upgrade to the protocol to date, the meticulously crafted Atlas release. This upgrade to Rocket Pool will make it fully compatible with the upcoming Ethereum Shanghai hard fork that introduces withdrawals. It also introduces many new improvements, ranging from simple gas optimizations to major new architecture changes aimed at scaling Rocket Pool like never before. Some of these new and very exciting features include the very popular and much discussed LEB8s, low ETH bonded mini pools, which will instantly and safely allow the protocol to scale and meet demand for rETH users. The upgrade has been a large undertaking by the team and community working together, of which we think the result is truly something very special for all involved. Anyway, enough babbling by me. Here's an article detailing the various aspects of the upgrade. We'll have a new date for its deployment to Gurley very soon. Stay tuned, Rocket Pool. So this was absolutely fantastic news. I'm just going to react to it with all the emojis as I do, and let's have a look at the Medium article now. So for those of you who watch Rocket Fuel, there's nothing in here that you don't already know, but it's nice to go over it really quickly. So it says we're announcing Atlas, and then there's the Shanghai update, which they want to try to get it out before that, and then it says Atlas upgrade, and then there's mini pool LEB8s, information about how that will work, solo staker migration, simplified mini pool queue, which is really cool way of doing things, an optimized mini pool queue, and dynamic deposit pool limit. It's going to go up to 18,000 ETH, which is fantastic. And then mini pool ETH distribution, additional notable changes, and then audits, and then testnet. And then questions, I'll just say hello, 72 points for making this far. So you all got 72 points. And about Rocket Pool, then there's just information about what the protocol is. So this is absolutely amazing. And let me, I still have a little bit of a cough, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is really amazing. Please read this article to get the full information. But as you already know, if you watch Rocket Fuel every day, there's nothing in there that you didn't already know. But the article was released on Friday at ETH Denver, while we were in ETH Denver, because Langers was supposed to announce it on the mainnet during his keynote, but it was really badly organized, so we pushed it to the following day. But I heckled Langers during one of his talks and asking him when Atlas, and he said it will be here in April. I guess the idea is that, if everything goes well in testing, then it should launch before Shanghai, the Ethereum mainnet fork, hard fork. However, if unforeseen problems come up, then it might be delayed, which I'm praying that that does not happen, because we really need it out before Atlas. But I just wanted to take this moment to thank the team, because everyone is working super hard on getting this out, and I just want to congratulate them as well on like reaching this point. So congratulations, thank you, and you know, your hard work is seen and appreciated. Okay, so next we have this comment from me, and I'm using this as an opportunity to discuss something with the community that I haven't yet. So I said the 10 prizes for the rocket fuel submission raffle for February have been sent. So you know, that was the raffle that took place on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday last week. And I sent out the 10 prizes to the 10 people. They got $100 each. Sadly, the value of RPL has come down a little bit since then, so their $100 is now worth like $80, I think. So sorry about that, everyone. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I talked to someone last week who has extremely generously decided to sponsor the raffle for rocket fuel submissions. I was completely blown away by this person's kindness, and they're also going to be giving me a little bit of RPL as well, just as being a kind of patron. So the monthly raffle now is going to be this. I'm working on maybe increasing the raffle and putting some of my own money into that as well, but the $1,000 will be coming from an anonymous benefactor. I don't know if they are the RPL benefactor, but I talked to the person and I don't think they're the RPL benefactor, but they're definitely a benefactor for me. But I just wanted to make it clear to all of you all that this was happening, and that I was receiving this funding for the raffle. So to all my rocket fuel intern army, all like 55 or 60 of you, I want to thank you for all your work, and I want to thank the anonymous patron to thank them for their very extremely generous donation. I said in trading last week that, you know, the generosity of the rocket pool community just blows me away every moment, and that's just evident over and over again. But this one was just like, it hit me really hard, and like I was just like totally blown away. So thank you so much for everyone who submits content. Thank you everyone who has helped make rocket fuel possible in whatever way that you do it, and thank you to the anonymous person who has shown like tremendous generosity. So yeah, let's get to some Joe content. So this has warning signs all over it, and it says, until you hear it from official sources, you are required to treat this as a rumor and or unconfirmed, to take it with a grain of salt. And then this is where Joe shared the bread that was coming out of ETH Denver. So there's like some really good stuff here. So it says, word is they want to get forced exits and beacon state routes with vertical trees into Cancun. Now, let's break this down, because there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. So first of all, what is Cancun? Cancun is the next hard fork for Ethereum, which will be taking place. Well, we have no idea when it will be taking place, but the idea was that it will take place maybe in 6 months' time, but it might be up to a year. So within the next 6 months to 1 year, we will have Cancun hard fork. Now, there's two parts of things that they want to include into the next hard fork. The first one is forced exits. This means that you will sign exit credentials for your node, or for your for your validator, and upon signing the exit message for that, you will then give that over to the staking service that you are a part of, and they will use that message to boot you out of the network if you act in a way that is not good, basically. So I guess, you know, each node operator protocol will have its own criteria for what kind of things might get you booted from their network. It might be that you well, for Rocket Pool, the main thing is that MEV theft will get you booted from the network. So that will be a really great way of protecting the network against bad actors or people who are trying to exploit the network. And it will make it a lot easier to get down to LEB4s, because at that point the cost benefit for someone to try to steal MEV will go slightly into their favor more than it will with LEB8s. So the possibility of stealing becomes a bit higher. So forced exits will be able to will help us kick out people but like before they can steal too much MEV. And then the beacon state routes with Verkle trees is huge news as well, because this will allow the communication to take place between the consensus layer and the execution layer, and that is a big roadblock to removing the ODAO duties. So that update will help us to mitigate the impact of the ODAO. So Joe goes on to explain. He says there's been enough pressure from us, Lido, and the DVT people, projects, that they see the writing on the wall. And he goes on to explain about other things about the bread. So he says, okay, then there you go. And he says someday we will have it, and then beacon route means I can get rid of the scrub check. And that's another thing that, you know, the ODAO does. So that's really cool. And Jasper says, so EOF, that's the object formatting, I think, and then 4844, which is making it proto-dank sharding, which will make it amazing for layer 2s to be able to send proof to layer 1 10 times cheaper. Verkle trees, force exits will be one hell of a hard fork. I think it would actually be a super duper hell of a hard fork. Like, it's, I can't overstate just how amazing that would be if we get all of those things. And Joe says, you know, forced exits are supposedly going to work like beacon deposits. There's a contract on the execution layer. You send a message from your mini pool, it emits an event. The BN picks up on the event, exits the validator. And then, yeah, so Joe gives more information about that. And then later, Joe says, I can talk about SNG's thing more. So SNG was talking about some bread. He said, I thought the other bread was a thing about the thing that is giving you some uneasiness about our self-limiting situation. And he says, that's not bread. It's definitely something to consider, but it's not bread. So then Joe says, I can talk about SNG's thing. So he says, at the booth, I'm minding my own business. So this is story time. And a dude at an unnamed company comes up to me and says, hey Joe, my company has some validators we made with BLS keys. So that's 0x0 instead of 0x1. And he said, we like Rocket Pool and heard there's a way we can transmute them without having to exit. Yeah. And then he says some, I think he means a whole lot of mini pools. A whole lot of validators. And then Joe says, and I'm like, yeah, it is. We designed it for solo stakers, but functionally it'll work for you guys too. He says, okay, great, tell me more. And I proceed to animate the whole thing with my hands because I haven't written the docs yet. He likes what he hears, heads out to go elsewhere. I sit down and immediately start writing the docs, because at this point, whatever reason, it literally hasn't occurred to me that institutional stakers could use solo staker migrations for validators too. And then major facepalm moment. And Sneaky says institutional staker with some validators. And then Joe says, so I start working on this. Then Langers does his panel where he clearly states we are going to self-limit. The exact number isn't clear, but it's like 20% or 22%. No, 22% or whatever figure Figs asked for, right? Something like that. And we go, Then we have the bread conversation where some of the EF guys are talking about limiting the number of validators on the beacon chain itself. And it's like, wait. So I don't know if there's like 1 million validators in total, and Rocket Pool limits to 20%. And then he says basically means there's a fixed number of validators Rocket Pool can have, and it can't go any higher. And I have this guy at the institution basically is telling me, hey, I realize there's scarcity here and I want in. So the idea is basically that there are node operators out there who have a whole lot of stake. They potentially want to move it to Rocket Pool, and we don't know how that's going to happen or when that's going to happen. It reminds me of the comment that Valdorf made in response to my super mega bullish comment of the day, when I said, you know, on one side we have some huge institution bringing their ETH, on the other side we have hyper staking from Aave being able to like mint as much rETH as we want, and those two things together could potentially drive us up to 22% very, very quickly. And Val said, you know, we don't want to be captured by some kind of network. However, the point is that Rocket Pool is completely permissionless. Right now, we have no way to stop anyone from spinning up mini pools. We have no way to stop them. So if Coinbase, hypothetically, I don't know the people that Joe talked to, if Coinbase said that they want to spin up 100,000 mini pools, there's no way we can stop them. So it's really, really interesting to see how that's going to happen. And Joe says, now the reason I don't think it's bread is because it's completely theoretical. It would require someone to purchase a shitload of RPL, which we aren't seeing. Even if it happened, it would be quite obvious it was happening. And I'm sure you guys would have something to say about Rocky Pool's validator set being like 80% company owned or whatever, which is the point that Valdo was making a few weeks ago. Yeah, and then Joe says, but the concern SNG is alluding to is how can we even stop number 3 from happening? Which I said, we can't, because, and Joe says we're right, and he says permissionless, which it exactly is. So then he says, so that's where we're like, oh damn, I hope it doesn't happen. Lol. So so it's really amazing to see that, that this could potentially happen. And even though, I was talking about it a few weeks ago as a hypothetical, it looks like other people are thinking about it too. And the more people start thinking about an idea, we know what happens then, right? It becomes more likely to become real. So let's move on from that. Joe shared some information about his Protei and his Protea stuff. He says, I'm moving to development for active cooled only, so it's not worth it. Like the passive cool fans have just been waiting too much. And I talked to Joe about this in person at the booth, and he was saying that, like, would I be willing to switch from passive cool to active cool? And I said, yeah, that's fine. And he says, like, another thing, I'm changing the active case to have a cut out bottom, so you can easily access the SSD without dismounting the entire thing. He says you can't do that with the aluminium one. So Joe then had some more information as well about his Protei. He says, a while ago I mentioned I was looking into new suppliers of the rock, since the one I currently use is on hold forever. So I'm happy to announce that it looks like it's going to go through. They are able to supply 50 units per month, so I'll end up doing monthly waves, time permitting. So the Proteus is going to be happening. This is really amazing, and Joe's getting good development on it. And he says, and then final Joe news, he says, by the way, they're shipping 1 million leftover t-shirts to my place, so if anyone wants one, I'll send it to you if you pay for shipping. I think there's some small, medium, large and extra large left. So the Rocky Pool shirt is available now, I guess, to buy on the Joe store. So yeah, he just wants shipping, so I guess that'll be, $5-10, whatever it'll be, and you can get a Rocky Pool shirt, which is absolutely amazing. I think they had like maybe, I want to say 40, 50, maybe even, I doubt it's more than that, but like, yeah, 40 or 50 shirts left. So get your orders in with Joe, and he'll be able to send you a Rocky Pool shirt for those of you who didn't get one. Right, so moving on now from Joe news, there's this news that came in from Non-Fungible Yokum. He says the first Dusties went past the 28 days about half an hour ago, but there have been no withdrawals yet. So as you remember, Invis found that you could grief a node by using the stake for function. Some person used it on about 400 nodes. Well, it's been 28 days since that had happened, so all of the people who got locked 28 days ago are now able to withdraw their RPL. And Dondo says people realize there's no mega dump coming and bulls will take the hill again. I hope so. And then Dukey said, I can confirm I am undusted. So they went to their node and they are able to withdraw their excess RPL, or any RPL that's on, well, any excess RPL that's on their node. So DQ is undusted. I guess we should all be undusted by now. So that is really great to see. Next, moving on to some work from Peteris. So I saw Peteris in Denver, and he showed off the stuff that I was showing you guys last week, which was, node operation through through Rocket Scan website. So he's adding more and more features to that every day. I think he's really enjoying doing it. So here you have a new way to convert your solo staker to your mini pool, and like you just enter your information there and it lets you do it. And he says there's a button to launch a solo validator for testing, so you can do like create up stake RPL, create mini pool, join smoothing pool, change withdrawal address, change time zone, create solo validator, or also convert a solo validator. So he's like really stepping it up in the kind of work that you can do now through his thing, and he implemented all of that on the plane. So he was really really working hard on the flight over to Denver, but he showed me some of this stuff in person and it looks absolutely fantastic. So, you know, congratulations, Peteris. I'm really excited to see how this continues working. Right, next we have this thing from the Week in Ethereum news, and they were showing some love to the Rocket Pool smart node, the rescue node, which was set up, you know, by Patches and Popash and other people. And it says that there is information here for stakers. It says Rocket Pool rescue node, a fallback node for temporary access in case of emergencies or maintenance. Now I'm including this because it's really great that Rocket rescue node is getting coverage, but also some conversations I had with Patches in Denver, and I was there for Patches was going to other services and telling them to fork his code for them to use for their own rescue nodes, because it is much better for them to use code that has been tested by a whole lot of people instead of trying to write their own code and having some issues with it, and there being problems with you know, maybe MEV theft or any of that kind of stuff. So the rescue node really like put those things into place so people couldn't do that. And I'm really happy that Patches is like, you know, willing to talk to other teams about them using the rescue node with the code that exists now. So, you know, the rescue node is doing great work. Patches is doing great work on top of that as well. So congratulations everyone involved with the rescue node. Right, so I'm sharing some posts from Bernard here, who is testing Atlas on the testnet. So, you know, he's sharing screenshots of different kinds of testing that he's doing or that they're doing. Here we have Rocket Pool Mini Pool begin bond reduction. So it's changing 16 ETH mini pools to LEB 8s. And then there's some more information here as well. He says tested on the Zhejiang testnet, complete the exit operation. So then, you know, there's a node here that has a validator here that is exited, which is really cool. And then more testing as well. He says I dug up a block on testnet, so was able to get a block. So testing is going well. Community members are getting involved in testing. So the Atlas code now is on testnet. It's version 1.9.0, which is the alpha release. So if you all have a testing machine, please spin it up and try it out, because there's some really cool things happening in testing, and I think there might be POAPs involved as well, but I don't know that for sure, so don't hold me to that. But yeah, it's really great that the testing is already happening. Next was this really amazing discussion that came up from the community just as people were starting to get to Denver. NextXX, sometimes I feel like we should decentralize ETH Denver locations. If a catastrophe happened at that location, we will pretty much lose all the Ethereum devs at once. And then Romana says that's why we have the skeleton crew, and that's all the people who left behind at home. Then the non-fungible Yokum says how many ODAO members are there, and there were a whole lot of ODAO members at Denver, you know, including Fizz and Butter, so you know, Beacon Chain, and also ETH Stakers. There was the Rocket Pool team there with their 4 nodes. There were a whole bunch of other protocols there too that are on the ODAO. So the discussion kind of went to like, how would the Rocket Pool protocol die? Like, if something terrible happened at Denver with all the ODAO, you know, users there, would Rocket Pool die? So that's where like this whole discussion came from, like the protocol called Yourmumshouse, which I hadn't actually heard of in that way before. So someone says that's what the non-fungible Yokum says that's what the challenge protocol is for. So it's really interesting how people how they've thought about all these amazing things, right? So Valdo says amazing, this is explicitly defended against in the protocol, but it would likely be a brutal slog. So then if you click on the link, you get this. It says thought you'd like this one, mate. So now any regular node operator can challenge an ODAO member node. If it doesn't respond, they're kicked from the DAO. It does cost a non-DAO member 1 ETH to challenge a member node to prevent spamming the ODAO members though. Then if for some reason due to a black swan event more than 50% of all the members go AWOL and there's more than 3 members left or less than 3 members left, a regular node operator can join the ODAO. If they have the RPL bond available, their node will then start doing Oracle duties automatically. And then Joe says, I hope it never comes handy, but I'm glad it's there just in case, which is absolutely amazing foresight. So this was over a year ago that they came up with this idea of how it works. So basically, if the ODAO goes down, then its duties are not functioning after a certain number of days of a non-functioning ODAO node. I think maybe even right away, the community could challenge that node. If the node doesn't respond quickly enough, then that node gets booted. As the node numbers go down, the ODAO node numbers go down, then they can start voting on the majority again, and everything would get going. So it would be really tough, but it's definitely possible for Rocket Pool as a protocol to continue. And then if you go to less than 3 ODAO members, at that point, any community member can run the code to become an ODAO member themselves, as long as they put up the bond of which is 1750 RPL. So it's really amazing that they've thought of all of this, and I think it's like really like adds to the resiliency of Rocket Pool. Like, it would be a hard few weeks, but we could get everything going again. As a community, we could kind of take over, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, so we already saw that. Okay, so next we have this comment from Uisce, who says the rETH RPL hash is incorrect. It's the one for the rETH wETH pool. IMC don't sign this. So this is in the governance thread for the IMC, and here we have, like, every 2 weeks, I think, or every month, the IMC sends out their RPL for every 2 weeks for incentives on liquidity pairs. And here we had Uisce, who says that there's a problem with one of the transactions, so don't sign it. So the reason why I'm covering this is because it's so important for people on the GMC and the IMC to double and triple and quadruple check all our transactions, because if we just trust one person to make it and everyone else signs it blindly, a mistake can happen, and that can have bad consequences, right? So it's, excuse me, I really am happy that Uisce caught this, and people were able to check it. So Denham says, yikes, we can drop the correct hashes in the Excel file for each pair to create another check for us. And Valdov says, thank you, recreating. And he says the correct hashes change every week, hence the API check. And then he says, here's the correct information. So I'm really glad that, the IMC, the GMC, we're all kind of like on top of it with all these issues. And we're working to get the right transactions sent. Okay, so next we have some bad news from the community. So there was a mini pool that was slashed, and it says mini pool 260740 has been slashed, and then there's a node operator whose information is there, and the reason for attestation violation. So people didn't really know who this node operator was who'd gotten slashed, but then they popped into support to try to figure out what had happened, and it was Hawk Danop. This is my validator got slashed and exited the system. I think it's because I ran 2 validators with the same wallet by accident. What do I need to do to re-enter the pool, or am I effed? So of course, they got slashed with luckily, like, they're so close to Shanghai, so they'll be able to exit their slashed validator after a certain period of time, and once they exit it, then they can start to rejoin staking again. We got some more information from Hawkdenop over here. He says, I had 2 identical machines in different geographic locations. When one goes down for maintenance for whatever reason, I delete my wallet and recover it on the secondary node. Both nodes have doppelganger protection. 2 days ago, I stopped the Rocket Pool service on node B, recovered the wallet on node A, and restarted the service, deleted the wallet from node B, checked to make sure that it was deleted, and restarted the Rocket Pool service on node B to keep it in sync, while node B kept it testing. Even though Rocket Pool wallet status still results in the node wallet has not been initialized, so fun for me. Between this and the dusting, it's been tough go the last few months. Shitty that what initially appears to be a glitch cost me whatever rewards it took close to a year and a half together. I'm sure I messed up a command or didn't check something. So then people kind of like dug into that, and they were having a look to see what was going on. He says, I'm on the latest version of Smart Node. The reason for the wallet switch this time around was actually upgrade the OS to remove blah 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 to check Rocket Pool wallet status. And Joe says, did you restart your VC after removing the Rocket Pool folder? It keeps the keys in memory even after you delete them from the file system. So if you don't restart, then it'll happily keep attesting, which sounds like what has happened. And or like Rocket Pool service stop, which just shuts down all the containers, that would do it too. Assuming you're using Docker mode. If you're using native mode, then you have to stop the VC service manually, of course. And yeah, he says, if my validator still can I issue a withdraw RPL command in 2 days, pull access out. Yeah, he should be able to do that. So then there was a whole discussion going on that I'm sorry I wasn't able to fully follow, but I think that's what the issue was. And the person got slashed. So it's a real shame that has happened. You know, I feel like we've had a couple of slashings recently, and I think maybe we just need to be a little bit more clear with people about like playing around with their keys and what the consequences of that can be. So I guess more docs for Joe. Sorry, Joe. Okay, moving on from that, we had this post from Ramana saying that the MakerDAO votes for lowering the dust limit for rETH vaults. So then if you have a look at the MakerDAO, it says decrease the rETH dust parameter. So the vote has been going on. So far, 99.19% of people vote yes, and a small chunk of people abstained. So this vote has, let me see if it's reached quorum or not. I think it has maybe not reached quorum yet. I'm not sure. But it seems like there's not been enough votes for this. But yeah, so this is being voted on right now. There's 2 days remaining in the plurality poll. Like, I don't fully understand Maker's governance system, but they are voting on that. So the dust parameter just means that what is the minimum amount of DAI you can mint with your rETH, and they're lowering the minimum amount, which is good to see. Okay, next we had this information from Stakewise, who said, we're excited to announce the launch of Atlantic, a closed testnet for Stakewise version 3. The goal of Atlantic testnet is to stretch the core Stakewise version 3 architecture to its capacity and identify the most serious issues and bugs before public testing. So there's a tweet thread here with all the information about version 3 and what's going to happen with that and what's happening with their testnet. So I had a really amazing conversation from Cruel at the Stakewise team. He's the co-founder of Stakewise, and you know, we shared a lot of information. We talked a lot about Stakewise version 3, and we talked about the proper way of decentralizing a staking service. And I have to admit, like, it was one of the best conversations I had at ETH Denver from a non-Rocket Pool related community member or team member. I was really impressed by what they're doing, and I'm really happy that they are working towards decentralizing in such a way. I talked to them about utilizing the Rocket Pool community for their testnet. So hopefully at some point within the next few days, someone from the Stakewise team will come into the Rocket Pool community and offer, you know, our community members to use their testnet. I think there's some like really great people who have tested the Rocket Pool versions that they'll be happy to test Stakewise software too. But the reason why I'm talking about Stakewise here is, of course, you know, Rocket Pool has voted to self-limit. Stakewise, in a sense, are not our rivals. They're our partners in providing decentralized staking services. And I said to them that, like, I'm so happy to encourage them to come to the Rocket Pool community, build bridges with the Rocket Pool community, because we're all in this together. And, you know, as we get closer to self-limiting after Atlas, hopefully, we can start supporting other decentralized projects that are doing things the right way and helping them out, just as we would, you know, work with Rocket Pool to help Rocket Pool. So, you know, the goal for all of us is to have a maximally decentralized Ethereum. And if Stakewise will add to that, then I am happy to support Stakewise. I should make clear, I do not own the Stakewise token, and I currently am not using their testnet or any of their services. However, I think that, you know, there'll be a vital service going forward. So good job, Stakewise. I really enjoyed my conversations with their team members, And if they come into our Discord, please treat them with respect and kindness. They are not our rivals, they are supporters, hopefully. And as we get more information about what the protocol is doing, then I think we'll have a much better idea of how they're working to create a maximally decentralized Ethereum, which is what we all want to see. So good job, Stakewise. Okay, next is something like a little bit funny. So IB1 gymnast, who's Evan, came into trading, and he said that he wanted to make a bet. So let's go have a look at his tweet and see what the bet was. He said, "I'm willing to bet $1,000 that RPL will be lower on the ETH ratio exactly 1 year after the implementation of Rocket Pool's Atlas upgrade. Sorry, not trying to make anyone angry, but it would be an interesting hedge. Any takers?" And he says the additional term of the bet is, "I won't post anything negative about RPL while the bet is active." So that's nice. So people kind of responded by saying, the RPL has significantly outperformed ETH since 2021. It wouldn't be crazy for it to take some time off soon. That said, I expect LSDs to be made a narrative that is likely to outperform. Loser donates 1K to the winner's charity of choice. And Evan says, "I like it. Bet starts when Atlas is implemented and ends exactly 1 year later. If the RPL ETH ratio is slightly higher, you win. If it's lower, I win." So if it's any higher, even if it's like 0.001 higher, then the other person wins. If it's lower, then Evan wins. It says loser donates 1K on chain and responds to this thread with the transaction on Etherscan. So Hekmat says, "I'm in." So the deal was sealed. But the interesting thing that I wanted to share was this reply by Marceau. Wait, where is that reply by Marceau? I can't find it right now. I should have found it before. But Marceau replied by saying that there's a whole lot of like bread that's coming out of Denver, and that there's going to be really exciting things, and Evan is going to lose this bet. So Evan was like, I'm sorry. Evan was like, "Oh well, yeah." So he was kind of, he thought it was funny, but like, yeah. So Evan has made that bet. So I guess we'll see 1 year after Atlas goes live whether Evan loses. I think there's a strong chance, very strong chance, that Evan is going to lose this bet. So that's funny. Okay, and something a little bit sadder news in the community. We had Bawcey, who said, "I won't be shitposting here for a while. I'm at a hospital for emergency surgery on my 2-month-old's eye. You all have a good weekend and don't dump the ratio too badly, fam." Which was really sad news. I have a child and I've got another one on the way, and any kind of issue that comes up with kids is like, the human mind just kind of like really can't help but make it like seem huge, and you worry a lot, right? And thankfully the really good news came in a little bit later, and Bawcey said the surgery went well. Now just waiting for him to recover from anesthesia, and we're in the clear. So thankfully everything was okay. Bawcey's baby's doing well, and I've seen Bawcey posting and trading since then, so I'm really happy that the baby's doing well and the whole family's like getting over this really sad news. But next we have news, that really good news that I was really happy to see, and that is Dybsy. Dybsy has set, set a date for getting married on August 11th. So of course all of trading is invited to that. If we can find out when it's happening, we can turn up. But it's really great that Dybsy is getting married, and that's nice to end on that positive note. So one thing that's been missing from today's episode that you might have all noticed is that there was not much coverage at all of ETH Denver in this video. That was very deliberate, because if I had covered the ETH Denver stuff, this video would be about 4 hours long. So what I'm doing is I've taken out all the stuff that was shared from ETH Denver, and I'm making a separate video, like an ETH Denver special. I'm also uploading my vlog from ETH Denver that is being uploaded right now, so you should be able to see that today as well. So there's a whole lot of content that's coming out today, but the ETH Denver stuff had to be pulled from this video, otherwise I would have been here all day. But yeah, I'm so happy with the Atlas news. I'm so happy with all the other things that are happening, and I wanted to say thank you to all of you for watching, supporting Rocket Fuel. Meeting so many of you in Denver was absolutely amazing. It was truly like one of my favorite things that's happened in a long time, and I'm so happy that I got to meet so many amazing people. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow for another regular episode, but before then you're going to be getting a lot more content from me, so enjoy.